Hi, everybody. Welcome into this week's show on JTV. It is Wednesday this week. Thank you to the Insurance Circle Agency. I'm David Rice. That is Adam.
Hello.
We have a lot to get to, so we will have Josh Tropea on the show with us.
Yes, sir.
In just a few minutes. Also recap the Super Bowl 60.
Yeah, I feel bad that we have to do this on Wednesday, but I was, as previously stated, I was not here on Monday. It's National Hangover Day, man.
It's understandable.
Yeah, exactly. But I had plenty of you guys calling in and checking up on me, making sure I was still alive. So I appreciate that.
That was somebody else I called.
It was,
not me.
It was.
But we do get the first day of March Madness off.
Oh, I saw that. That is cool.
And then the next day is Friday, and then the second round is Saturday, Sunday. So
get to watch
4 straight days.
Get to watch some basketball. I love it.
That's right. All right, well, let's start off today's show. Catch you up on some of the high school basketball that's been happening last week. Big Cascades game. Leslie survived at home against Hanover Horton, 55-49, including a bat flying around in the Leslie gym.
Dude, I saw that. I think you shared that on our Facebook page.
Yes.
So I saw that. That was amazing. Who was it that got the stop? Who was it that stopped that?
That was Coach Andy Birch.
That was cool.
From
That's
Hanover.
right. That was cool.
Yeah. And by the way, follow our show's Facebook page because I always try to share news and scores and whatnot on there, even if we don't have a show that day. Whatever it might be, still follow our page. Mm-hmm. We have news on there. Plus, we don't have time to talk about it today, but the Tigers announced their TV plans.
Oh, okay.
For this year.
I think we have a bigger Tigers announcement later that I assume everybody's heard, but we'll definitely talk about it.
We have several Tigers announcements, which I did not write down on here, and I do apologize.
I won't let you forget. I will make sure we talk about it.
Thank you. And then back to basketball here. Michigan Center, 2 big wins for them in the Cascades East last week. Beat Manchester 48-40 on Tuesday, and then Leslie 62-58 at Leslie on Thursday. So Michigan Center has now locked up the East Division of the Cascades, and then we had them live against Grass Lake last night on Tuesday this week. Beat Grass Lake 56-30. So get this, Michigan Center has now won 15 games in a row, and they're 18-1 on the year. So, and they're in a really tough district too. I'll get to it in a minute, but we just had Adrian Jackson last week live. Michigan Center is in the same district as Adrian, and they're in the same district as Columbia Central. So those two are going to play on Saturday at Columbia for the Cascades Championship, and then those two could play each other for a third time in the postseason. Or one of them could play Adrian, so that's going to be a really good postseason round there coming up in a few weeks. So I will probably be going to that one.
Hey, nice.
It's at Tecumseh. Tecumseh is a really nice gym.
Yeah.
So, and then speaking of Jackson, Adrian had that live on JTV last week on Tuesday, 74-61 for the Vikings over Adrian. Trey Pierce was our Tri-County Water Player of the game. 15 points for him, and for Jackson, Jaden Ramirez led the scoring with 19 points, and Jackson Francis, 35 points for Adrian in that game. Jackson now 13-5. They are third in the SEC White still, but just one game behind Chelsea for second place. And this Friday, we will have Chelsea at Jackson live, and I am excited for that. Chelsea's got some really good players. Of course, anybody that's watched Chelsea, first thing that you're probably going to mention is Drew Cabana, the freshman. Of course, Coach Zandria, also the former Grass Lake girls coach. 6'4" freshman, Drew Cabana. Already one Division I offer for him.
Dang.
So,
do you know where?
Ohio.
Oh, okay.
The MAC.
Yeah.
So,
I like it.
And speaking of MAC, so number one, Arizona lost a couple nights ago. So the only undefeated team left in men's college basketball is Miami, Ohio.
Woo.
Can't
so
make
sick.
that up.
That's so sick.
So Jackson over Adrian in that game, 74-61, and then we'll have Jackson Chelsea on Friday. And last week live on JTV for senior night at Lumen Christi, Lumen beat Northwest 74-54. Ashton Callan was our Tri-County Water Player of the game, 27 points for him. Of course, it was senior night at Lumen Christi. Head coach Josh Tropea, we talked to him post-game, and the whole student section and team we got a chance to talk to as well.
That was cool.
So,
yeah, that was a cool.
which we'll have Josh with us in a few minutes. We'll have to ask him about that. But in the post-game interview, he told me and Max, he said, this is going to be the toughest group to replace for the time that he's been at Lumen Christi so far. They come to practice every day with a smile on their faces, and they will pave the way for the future. We play for March here, so continuing to get better every day is the goal. So this Saturday night, 7 o'clock, Cascades Conference Championship, Michigan Center at Columbia Central. Yes, it is now at Columbia Central. Normally it is at Spring Arbor. They moved it, for those that don't know. Now you know. Michigan Center in Brooklyn at Columbia Central Saturday night. Really good third-place game before that at 5:30, Leslie in Jonesville. So that's going to be really good as well. And then they'll announce the all-conference players in between those two games. Michigan Center Columbia already played once this year back on December 15th with Michigan Center only winning by 4, 56-52. So it's going to be a really good game Saturday in Brooklyn, Michigan. And I will be in attendance for that. So look for highlights online at jtb.tv and on our Facebook page. And then in high school girls basketball last week on Thursday in the Big 8, Concord game winner, 9 seconds left, 35-34 win over Stockbridge. Another really good game, Michigan Center over Hanover Horton, 58-52. Lumen Christi will be playing in the Catholic League tournament final this Friday at Oakland University, taking on Orchard Lake St. Mary's. And then earlier this week on Monday, we had the first game live in the girls between Grass Lake and Michigan Center at Grass Lake. That was a single-digit game. But the second game was not the case. On Monday, Grass Lake rolling over Michigan Center, 75-41. The Warriors took the first lead, and it was all Grass Lake from there. So the senior Maya Vigeland committed to Davenport University, 24 points, 6 rebounds, 4 assists, and Reese Lape Grand Valley commit 24 points and 9 rebounds for Grass Lake. Grass Lake has won 14 games in a row. There's quite a few teams in our area, boys and girls, who have some pretty good winning streaks going right now. So everybody's playing well at the right time headed into the postseason. So Grass Lake 16-1 overall, and they have now clinched the East Division. And with Columbia beating Hanover on the west side of it, 59-52 in overtime. What a game that was yesterday. Grass Lake, Columbia girls for the Cascades Championship. I think for the either second or third year in a row now, where it's going to be Grass Lake against Columbia. Now, Grass Lake Columbia also played each other in the boys' championship last year. Columbia losing that game by 1, 31-30. So I know Coach Crawford and Columbia want to get back this year and be the Cascades champions. But it's going to be tough. I just mentioned Michigan Center's 18-1, and they've won 15 games in a row. So that's going to be a really good game on Saturday. So All right. Coming up on the show today, I mentioned we'll recap the Super Bowl. There's been a lot of talk about the halftime shows as well.
Oh, we'll talk about it.
Both of them.
The real one and the not so real one.
Yeah. The Turning Point All-American halftime show.
It was something.
It was. And then the Bad Bunny halftime show.
Yes.
To me, the commercials were not good this year either.
They were awful.
For the ones that I
were
saw,
terrible.
they were not good.
Yeah.
There were a couple that I liked, and I'll share that.
Mm-hmm.
But most of them were just not good.
A lot of AI slop in these commercials, which was not good to see.
Yeah, we don't want all our commercials taken over by AI in the future, which is probably
going to happen. Especially these big ones.
I also want to mention the Super Bowl MVP. Now, Kenneth Walker played a great game, don't get me wrong.
Not my MVP.
No, I agree. He ran the ball really well. He had a great game. So, but
if it wasn't for the player that I don't know if you're going to say the same thing as me, but I won't say who it is right now, but if it wasn't the player that I wanted to win Super Bowl MVP, he was number 2.
Right.
So it's like it's not like they gave it to Darnold or something like that where I'm like, what the heck? But still, there's a certain guy that definitely should have gotten MVP over him.
And then we'll have way too early odds and predictions.
That's crazy. When I saw this on here, I was like, are you serious? Yeah. I mean, they're already
Book
out
it now. The Super Bowl is on Valentine's Day next year. Love is in the air.
Oh, gosh. Oh.
So I'm going to give my early odds
brutal. Oh, I can't wait to
for
hear
next year.
Okay. All right.
But coming up after the break, we have a guest before we get to that. So, Lumen Christi basketball head coach Josh Tropea, a friend of JTV and the program, and he will join us when we come back. Welcome back on JTV. Thank you to the Insurance Circle Agency, 269-200-2905, myinsuranccircle.com. Happy to be joined by the head coach of the Lumen Christi Titans. He's been on our show several times before, and back with us now, Josh Tropea here on JTV. Coach, how's everything going? And thanks for doing this again. Appreciate it.
Yeah, of course. I love it. Anytime. You guys do a great job. I love the show and honored to be on it. And yeah, things are well. It's getting to be playoff time, so getting excited about the postseason.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll get to the postseason in a couple of minutes. I know you've played a game or two since then, but we had the game against Northwest live last week. It was senior night for you guys. I know I had texted you after the game, but our whole crew and myself included, I thought that was really cool to get all the students and everybody with us after the game. So I got to imagine it's just a fun night, for senior night and beating a Division I team in Northwest and it being, crosstown rival and that whole thing.
No, absolutely. I mean, anytime you can beat Northwest or Jackson High Parma Western won't play us, but if they would, anytime you can beat them as well, that's always fun when you can beat the rivals. But no, to include all those kids, it was great. My 5 seniors are so incredibly popular in the building. And that senior class is a fun group. And for all those kids to get in there, I thought that was a really cool thing. And like I said, that night was all about those kids. So to include all those kids and have that be part of their experience with their buddies, that's what it's all about. You
said Western didn't want to play you. Did you try to schedule them and they said no?
Absolutely. I don't know what the deal is. Coach Moffitt is a great friend of mine. He's one of my seriously close coaching friends, and we had it all set up to play. And I don't know the powers that be, and I don't know who the powers that be are over there, but they they canceled it. So it's too bad. It'd be a great game. So I figured maybe if I put this on your podcast,
There
they
you
feel
go.
a little more pressure to actually agree to play us next year.
I was gonna say, I think you can talk to Coach Brogan about what that feels like, because I think he goes through that exact same thing.
We did have that conversation. He told me if you keep winning like this, he goes, there's going to be more schools that don't play. So I'm like, yeah, you're probably right. So,
Just transitioning here, you guys you've played Loyola twice before the Catholic League semifinal yesterday.
yep.
And then tough loss to Loyola yesterday. So what do you think changed from those first two matchups to how it went yesterday?
Yeah.
Just your thoughts on that.
It's really, no, that's a great question. So I would say we've played 12 quarters against them, the 3 games. For 11 quarters, it has been as even as it can get. They beat us at our place by 4. We beat them at their place by 3. Just incredible games. That's how yesterday went for the first 3 quarters. They're up 1 at halftime. We're up 2 at the end of the third quarter. I mean, it was an absolute battle, and it was a great basketball game. And then I'm telling you, I've never seen anything like it. I mean, it's 29-27 us going into the fourth, and we never made another basket or free throw the rest of the game. It was the wildest thing. I mean, and it snowballs, right? You miss your first 4 or 5 shots of the fourth quarter, they get a couple baskets, and then they're up 8. We call a couple timeouts. Actually, we got down 4. I called timeout. We got down 8. I called timeout, but then frustration starts to set in, which is natural with the kids. I mean, I'm not saying it's a bad thing. They start taking bad shots or quick shots. And then almost panic sets in as the next step is like, we can't make anything. And then they start believing they're going to miss. And oh my goodness, did it snowball quick. And so like we told the kids after the game, like, hey, played 11 great quarters against the number 1 team in the state, basically tied after 11 quarters. And it was a fluky quarter. I mean, I find it hard to believe that this basketball team that I coach will ever have a quarter where they don't score again or don't hit a free throw or a shot.
When you're in that situation and it's the fourth quarter, you call timeout, nothing's going right. What do you say to the kids when it's just like, because I always feel like it's like, I don't even know what to say if I was in that situation. Cause it's just almost like luck isn't on our side.
Right. Well, so the first, and you kind of nailed it. The first time out I called, we got down 4, so they went on a little 6-0 run. We get down 4. I called them, like, hey, just settle in. I go, the shots are going to fall. We're fine. Just relax. Just really encouraging, like, you're taking great shots. Those are shots we want. And, just trying to stay positive. Then they went on another, like, 6-0 run. I call another timeout. And the second timeout, I actually just look at them and goes, you guys got any ideas? Because we've missed like 11 shots in a row. You guys tell me, what do you got? And they kind of laughed. They're like, well, I don't know. I think we're okay. We just got to get to the rim. I'm like, all right. I'm like, whatever you think. Because I mean, it was crazy. Yeah, it was crazy. And then the crazier thing, that was with like 6 minutes left. We didn't score. We still didn't score the rest of the game. It was nuts. So, but it's funny. I'd almost rather lose that way than lose a heartbreaker. You know what I mean? Where we'd be struggling today to practice. We'd be struggling to recover. It was almost laughable after the game. The kids are like, we're just as good. We'll be fine. We had 1 bad quarter. I'm like, I'm with you. I agree.
And I think that tells you a lot about the character of the kids that you have, where it's just like, they can look at that and be like, all right, that's not going to happen again. Like, that was just crazy circumstances that caused that, and we're just going to roll on to the next game.
Yep, and that's a great point. Great credit to the kids, and we are a really close group. And they're obviously very confident in their abilities, and so that helps as well. But yeah, no, it really was a crazy game though.
Before we talk about the start of the postseason play and we get into district matchups and whatnot, earlier this week, this week's rankings came out from the Basketball Coaches Association. I was very shocked to not see Lumen Christi on there in Division III. I don't know why, really. I mean, I think you guys were in that poll top 3 or 5 at one point for a good part of the season, at least right in the middle in that top 10. And now, just even though before, this Loyola game, you had beat them one time, and you'd beaten some other great teams and also
Yeah.
beating, teams in higher classes than you. And according to them, it didn't count for anything for some reason. And it's now Lumen Christi's not in the top 10. I don't know if you've seen that. I'm shocked by that.
I saw it. Trust me, we see all that stuff. And I will say I was thrilled. And I mean this because I agree with everything you just said. We have 4 losses, or we have 2 losses to the number 1 ranked team in the state in Class C or Division 3, and we have 2 losses to a top 7 team in Division 2. That's 4 or 5 losses. So here's the thing though, I loved it because if you don't think for a second that I didn't send that in a text to every kid on that team, and we love that we're flying under the radar. I love that Onsted's ranked ahead of us. I love that Springport's ranked ahead of us. I mean, we're going to use that for fuel all the way. Like, I'm like, hey, listen, nobody thinks you're that good anymore. I mean, we were ranked in the top 10 the last 2 years. I go, you're out of it now. And so, trust me, we're going to use that to motivate the kids. And I mean, at the end of the day, you still got to be ready to play no matter who you're playing against. But yeah, it upset the kids. I mean, it did. I mean, I personally, I loved it. I would love to fly under the radar and have people not think we're good. That'd be wonderful, because that'd be a mistake by them.
Well, and it's not like you guys have gotten worse, because 4 of your 5 losses are against Divine Child, who's number 8 this week in Division 2.
Yeah.
And then, like you mentioned, Loyola. And, Springport's a good team, and so is Onsted. But I've always said I think a program can be judged based on the schedule that you put together. Obviously, you have to play your conference games, but those non-conference games, those other matchups, is where a program can be judged. So, not comparing really between you guys and then like Springport, Onset, whoever else, like you mentioned.
Those are 2 excellent teams. Yeah, those are 2 excellent teams. I mean, and I don't even think Springport was in there this time, actually. But Onstead and Springport, we've seen them on film a lot because we know we're going to have to play them in March if we get through districts. And they're both very well-coached teams, especially, I mean, Brandon Baum and Coach, oh, geez, I'm forgetting the head coach's name. I don't know.
Logan Neal.
Over there Logan Neal and Brandon Baum at Springport do a great job. And then Brad Maska's, he's a Hall of Fame coach. Yeah. He's got 300 wins at Onstead, a good friend of mine. I'm so old, though. I actually coached against Brad when he was a player. So, but he loves to remind me of that too, by the way. But no, it's, they're 2 really well coached teams. They're both really good teams. They'll be formidable opponents if we even get there. We'd have to, we still got to get through Hanover Napoleon District, and then our first round regional game would be against a really athletic Flint New Standard team. So, I don't know. I mean, if we get there, those teams are very deserving. I was just surprised on how many up north teams were ranked in the top 10. I wasn't surprised that Onstead is in there, and I wouldn't be surprised if Springport should be in there. But like, I couldn't believe how many teams from up north were in the top 10. And I'm thinking, I can't imagine they're playing all the same competition we are down here.
Yeah, I'm looking at it here right now. Like, and no discredit to any teams like in the UP, but Grand Rapids metro area, the Lansing metro area, Detroit, Jackson area, Lenawee, Ann Arbor, those are all not in the UP. Like, I'm looking at Division 3. Ishpeming Westwood is at number 3. Yeah. And then you look at Division 4, Dollar Bay, who I've never heard of till I saw that just now, is number 6. Crystal Falls, Traverse, you know what I mean? So I don't, it's not the same level of competition. And then, some other teams in our area that I'm interested to see how they do in their postseason. I mean, this week, Concord's ranked number 7 in Division 4. They're playing really well, and I know they beat Northwest, who's Division 1. And I know Northwest also, they're a good team, and you guys just beat them. But still, for a Division 4 team to beat a Division 1 team is saying something.
Yeah. Yeah, and they have a huge game Friday against Springport at Springport, and that'll be a huge game for both those teams. And Concord's a team I've seen 2 or 3 times in person. I mean, I feel like they could make a run to the Breslin Center. I mean, I don't know if anybody can beat Fowler in D4, but I feel like Concord they gave a good game earlier this year, though. So, yeah.
Girls are doing
make
good,
a run
too.
for sure. Yes, for sure. And then, I think that people are sleeping on Michigan Center. I mean, I think they're 17-1, something like that. And, I know they're in D2, which it can be tough, because they're playing in the Cascades, which is mostly D3 and 4. But I still think they could make a run. I saw them play 2 weeks ago against Homer. They're really good. And I'll be honest with you, the state championship game for girls is going to be in early March at Napoleon High School when you got Grass Lake girls playing Lumen girls. I mean, they might as well bring the state title trophy to the district there. I mean, that's going to be a huge game. They're the best two teams in the state.
Yeah, and when Scott first got hired for the girls' job, we had him on the show, and he said, look, if Grass Lake didn't have to play Lumen Christi, or if those two didn't have to play each other at all, or not until later on, but he thought besides Lumen Christi, Grass Lake was the state champion. And also, Napoleon, I know they just added on, and they have the extra gym, auxiliary gym now, but still, they don't have enough seating for that massive game that it's going to be. I mean, I don't know how you're going to pack everybody in there.
That game should be played at Spring Arbor. There's no question about it. I mean, yeah, I mean, I don't know if you guys remember this, but back when Kari Willis was a junior and at Lumen Christi, there was a regional. They made the regional, and Leslie was in the same regional. And I don't know who the host of it was, but they understood that there wasn't enough seating, and they moved the whole regional to Spring Arbor, which was really smart by the host school. I don't know if Napoleon will do that. We've run into it. I mean, if you think about just in our last couple of years, the runs we've made, I mean, the district we played Napoleon at East Jackson, there wasn't enough seating for the final. When we played Hanover last year at their place, they were standing room only. I mean, it's getting to the point where, and this is a good thing, but so many people want to go to these games, they need to consider moving them to, bigger venues. I really do believe that.
Well, and it's like the boys' Cascades Championship this Saturday was supposed to be at Spring Arbor, but they just moved it to Columbia because the West is hosting the crossover games this year. And Columbia's a big gym, but
it is.
Still,
it is. Yeah.
To not have any sort of game like that, not on a big stage like Spring Arbor. And then also, what doesn't help that either is the fact that for postseason, live video is only for NFHS, and I know we and Adam have certainly talked about that a lot on this show. Obviously, not a lot of people aren't thrilled with that, but not enough people can fit into Napoleon, and then it's like you don't let our good product like JTV be able to do that game, and because Napoleon isn't with the NFHS, if you're not there, you can't watch it, and you're not going to be enough room.
Well, I was actually going to ask you that. What about these schools that don't supply the NFHS camera? The people are just out of luck. They can't watch the district games, or can they go to YouTube or to Facebook? I didn't know how that was going to work.
Well, Napoleon for their home games, they do the huddle video.
Okay,
but still, that's not. I've watched their huddle feed before, and I don't know if I'm not blaming them. It's not their fault, but normally the scoreboard's in the little corner. Half of it's cut off, so you can't see the score or the quarter or anything.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying, though, is not everybody can pack into Napoleon, but then you don't let somebody like us do the game with a good product that we have. So it's just all around it's an issue. And I know Napoleon loves, on their part, they are going to love having this, but there's just not enough people for the two best girls teams in the state in a district final to be in that small of a gym.
You're right. It'll be, and they're hosting the boys the week before. That's where ours is as well. And they definitely have enough seating for the boys. Now, will it be crowded and packed? Yeah, but we'll fit in there. Everybody will fit in there for the boys. But you're right. This girls game, it's even like if they played it at Jackson High or Spring Arbor,
even
just another
Jackson
venue.
College,
Jackson College would be great. Yeah. Yep.
So I have to ask this question just because it goes through my mind when I'm at games. So when you're it's just before the national anthem, everybody's warming up. What is going through your mind during that time? Because it's like the prep work is done, we're about to go. the players are doing their thing. So you're kind of just like sitting there on the bench, just thinking what exactly is going through your mind, especially before a big game.
Yeah, no, that's a great question. So usually I have a checklist of there's usually 4 or 5 things that I want to see early in the game to see there's a few actions we want to see. How are they going to defend our pick and roll? Are they going to do it the same way that we have on the scouting film? How are they going to defend our 4 out versus our 5 out? As far as are they going to help a ton off our 4 out where we can get dump offs? So it's kind of like things we want to run early to see how they're going to defend it. We're not really running them so much because we think we're going to score on it. We want to know how they're going to defend it for later. And then the other thing is just kind of a mental checklist to myself about I kind of say to myself, all right, if Ashton gets an early foul here, I'm going to go here. If just kind of, things we've talked about as a staff, but that I feel are important early that are just kind of playing over and over in my head. I remind myself what's kind of their pet set they likes to run early. I communicate that to the 1 or 2 kids that are involved in those actions. But honestly, as we get, and those are things like before I come out of the locker room. Once I come out of the locker room, I really just try to go talk to the other coach, kind of take a deep breath, relax, and just kind of clear my thoughts. So, and drink a lot of water.
Gotta stay hydrated.
Absolutely.
And then and you've kind of said it with what you said there, but unlike football where it's just 1 game a week, you're going to have a couple games a week. How much prep work goes into each of those games? Because I can imagine strategy, film.
No, it's a great question. Yeah. So it's a great question. So to your point, or to your question, we have already we started 2 weeks ago. So I have already seen Homer, Napoleon, and Hanover in person myself once. I've not seen East Jackson, but we filmed them last night. We have 3 films on everybody. My entire staff tomorrow will go to one of the games. I will go to Homer Napoleon. Tomas Sandberg will go to Hanover. And then we have another coach going down to Addison to see East Jackson. So we'll see everybody in the district. We'll go out again on Friday to see everybody in the regional. We filmed Leslie Napoleon last night because we could see Leslie in the regional. We'll
that
go
was
to
a really good game
on Friday.
By the way,
It was
Napoleon.
a really good. It was. Yeah. Yep. And then I'll go to Springport on Friday. And not to bore you, but this will literally be our process this week and next. We'll walk into districts with 4 to 5 films on everybody in district and 3 to 4 on the teams in our regional. And it's just it started. We'll start watching film that week. We'll break down. The first thing we'll do is break down film on Homer and East Jackson, and then we'll go to their game Monday. But we're not going to pick anything up. We're just seeing if there's anything we missed. And then the minute that game ends, we throw out the one scouting report and we get the other one ready. And then we'll do the same thing. We'll have Hanover and Napoleon both ready, and we'll throw one out and have the other one ready, and that will go on throughout the playoffs. And listen, we got a lot of work to do. There's no guarantees in March, but our hope is to make a run. And I know this people might think I'm crazy, but I also want to be prepared. And we've already started collecting films on Onstead, Whiteford, and teams that we could play in quarterfinals. You only get so many opportunities of this, and we feel like. We know we could lose to anybody, but we also know we're pretty good. So we're gonna be ready to go.
Well, yeah, and if you make that run, you don't want to be like, oh, I should have prepared for this. So it's like you have to look towards that, and that's what
Yes.
I think is so hard about coaching, and especially coaching at this level. It's crazy what you have to do to put out a successful team.
Right, and then
I have great staff though that helps.
Sure.
Don't get me wrong. Yep.
And I couple more things really quick because I want to get to it. But one, I know you won't see both of these teams in the postseason, but I'm really looking forward to Michigan Center Columbia on Saturday for the Cascades Championship. That's going to be really good. I know Columbia's really hot right now in a winning streak, and Michigan Center's won 15 in a row, and they're 18-1, so that's going to be really good. And Columbia just beat an exceptional Jonesville team last week, only allowed 8 points in the second half. I was at that game.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to that Saturday. So really quick.
I'll be there. Yep.
So before we go, it was more recent news, I think, in the last couple weeks. And I don't think we'll really see it affect any athletes at least I don't think yet in our area, but NIL now for high school athletes in Michigan. Just wanted to ask you if you had any thoughts, comments on that.
Sure.
I can't say I'm surprised by it. There's only one player in Michigan right now that I know already is doing some NIL, and that's Keyshawn Somerville from Sexton, who's really good. But besides him, I don't really see it being anything for any player in our area, at least right now. But just wanted to get your thoughts on that.
Yeah, no, I mean, hey, listen, I'm all for it. If some business wants to give, the only player in the area that I think is going to get anything is Kenna Hunt. I mean, and she would be the only one to me that would be worth the money. And if I'm a business and say, I don't know how many, I'm not on social media enough, but let's say Kenna has 20,000 followers. I don't know. If you're a business and you feel like enough people are looking at her social media that it's worth giving her some money to endorse your product, maybe it is worth your money. I don't know that. Besides that, I can't imagine a business is really going to make much off these kids. What I think you're going to see is you're going to have some kids, and I can think of some already, but you're going to have some kids whose parents are friends with people that own businesses, and they might slide them some money, and then the kid feels good, that kind of thing, I think. But I'm all for it if it's genuine and people want to do it. Like I said, when I look at Ken Hunt, I could see people wanting to give her money to do that kind of stuff. So I get that. But my concern and my real concern is, like, what happens when a school and people will probably, honestly, they'll probably accuse Lumen of this, but like, what happens when, I'm just being real, they will. What happens when a kid, somebody transfers to a school and they get a sweet NIL deal and they get a free lease on a car when they're 17 or 18 or I don't know, or they get it, you know what I mean? And then all of a sudden, like, well, no wonder you're going to school there. They're paying.
They're going to attack any Catholic school.
Oh, absolutely. And so I worry that it gets carried away. And again, I think the other thing is, I do think that MHSA had the right intentions. Everybody's doing this. And I know we're all tough on the MHSA, and rightfully so, they deserve it a lot. But I will say in this case, I think they were doing what everybody else was doing. But here's the thing is, they are understaffed. They can't even control transfer rules without schools helping them out. There's no way they're going to be able to monitor all this. I mean, like, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
they still have trouble getting enough officials for games. They have a lot to work on with the video broadcasting rights, which we've talked about several times, so we just mentioned it. And then that. So, to your point, and then, it's I don't know. It's just it's all crazy.
You're about to go on your soapbox.
It is.
Yeah, I know we're already running. I was going to, but so maybe we'll revisit it later.
Yeah,
on.
there you go.
I'll come on again in the summer when we got time.
I like it.
When it's kind of dead time. There you go. Yeah.
There you go. And then we didn't have it last year. Before we go, though, real quick, the Jackson area All-Star games. We did that a few years ago at Spring Arbor, and I loved it. We didn't get a chance to do a girls' game. I'd love to bring that back, and if there's a way where JTV can be the exclusive partner for it, we do the game. We pick the location, and me and Adam were just talking about it earlier. I brought it up. You pick between all the Cascade schools, and then of course Lumen, Northwest, J-High, and the other, a few other ones. You pick 20 to 22 players, 10 or 11 on each team. Playground style. My idea was do like a draft. You pick the teams right before the game starts. I think that'd be cool. But I would like to bring that back. Have a girls and boys game. Have it somewhere and have us do it. It was
so disappointing that we didn't do it last year. And there was a great senior class. I mean, I want you to think about some of these names. You got Luke Soper. You got Luke Tropea, you have Maverick Hammond, you have Braden Lake, you got Timmy Crowley. I mean, you had 5 of the best senior basketball players. Like, it's an unbelievable class. There's 4 1,000-point scorers right there I just named. Yeah. I mean, 4 of those 5 guys were all state. I mean, and we didn't have an all-star game because we couldn't get enough people. And I think the only thing is like, I will do anything I can to help you guys with that. I think JTV's got to be the driving force because people will do it if it's on TV. What we have found, though, is we cannot get enough kids. We can't get 20 kids. So one of the things I've heard of county's doing is like our Jackson County All-Stars will play the Lenawee County All-Stars or whatever. Because, for instance, Lenawee plays Monroe. So maybe that's what it's going to take is like we take on another county. I don't know, but I'm all for it. When the season, I'm not going to put any time into it now. When the season ends, if you call me, I'm all in to make it happen because it was really sad last year that didn't happen. There were some great players last year.
Right. Yeah. I know you mentioned all the great boys talent that we have in there, especially last year. But I think still to me right now, there's so much girls talent too. So I think having all the, even last year, but then this year, having all those girls players in that game as well. So, hey, if we're the driving force,
that's right.
We plan it, have it at Spring Arbor or JC. It'll be on TV.
Yeah.
And we do a draft before the game. I think it'd be great.
I love it.
So, throwing that out there for anybody watching.
Yeah, all right. Well, we'll make it happen. You just let me know. I can send you all the coaches' contacts. You can, I mean, anything I can do to help. I'd love to see it come back.
For sure. All right. Well, we've been going on. So, Lumen Christi head coach Josh Tropea with us. Josh, as always, thanks for doing this. Appreciate it. Good luck in the postseason, the last couple games before that. I know we'll be following you guys and everyone around here for the postseason tournament. So, appreciate the time. Thank you.
You bet. Thanks for having me, guys.
All right, Josh Tropea on JTV. We will be right back. Welcome back here on JTV. So it's our first show since Super Bowl 60 happened.
Yes.
Second time in franchise history, the Seattle Seahawks are Super Bowl champions.
You must have been fuming, and your brother must have been going crazy during that game.
To say the least.
I bet.
Led by the defense of Seattle,
they look so
the
good.
dark side.
Oh, man.
And Kenneth Walker, former Michigan State Spartan, Super Bowl MVP.
Okay, here we go.
Which we'll get to in just one second.
That's fine. That's fine. Hold me back.
Just 1 second. Drake May got sacked 6 times in that game, 3 turnovers. Kenneth Walker, 135 rushing yards, about averaging around 5 yards carry. Sam Darnold, no turnovers for him, 19 of 38 for 202 and a touchdown. He went from being drafted by the Jets, I'm so sorry for him, to being a backup in San Francisco. Never even got a chance there. Minnesota didn't give him any more chances after 1 year. They went 14-3 and didn't keep him. I know they were going to go with J.J. McCarthy, but he ended up getting hurt, and you still went 14-3 with Darnold. So he went from that to now winning a Super Bowl with Seattle.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't like he himself had like a crazy impressive game, but he kept.
But he did
kept
what
it
he
under
needed
control.
to do. Didn't turn the ball over.
Yeah, exactly. And when you look at what that Seattle defense, it was all defense. I was one of those people that is probably, we talked about this when we did our tier list about that Rams Patriots Super Bowl. When it's a good defensive game, I'm all about those games. When you see how good these defenses are, I feel like people confuse low scoring games with bad games. Definitely wouldn't say that. But when Bad Bunny had more rushing yards than the Patriots did, we know that there's a problem. And they just, with 2 backs as well, 2 good backs throughout the year, they could not put anything together. And, but I more credit the defense than what the Patriots offense did. I think they just got outclassed.
Did the other halftime show have more rushing yards too than
No, but it had a lot more lip syncing. I don't know if you saw the Kid Rock performance, but it was
just, we were gonna talk about either. So we'll get to the Super Bowl MVP, but you wanted to bring up the halftime.
Well, of course, because it's big news.
There are actually, I'm not gonna go down this political route here. I don't want to do that. But yeah, that's our extra cut that we.
Yeah, there you go.
From last. No, listen. Even though people are complaining about, not a single thing was in English. I couldn't understand it, so it wasn't good. Who cares? That doesn't mean it was bad. Personally, okay. Everybody has their own opinion. If you didn't like it, that's fine. That's your opinion. So be it.
It's kind of like what we talked about before. Yeah.
And if you did like it, great.
Yeah, I mean,
if you watch the other halftime show, again, that's your opinion, whatever.
Yeah. Personally, in terms of set design, in terms of cinematography, in terms of all that stuff, choreography, it was the best looking halftime show. I will say that.
A lot of Bush in the halftime show.
Yeah, it was crazy. I mean,
Bushes.
It looked awesome. But, you turn over to the other one, you kind of peek in at the other show, and it's wasn't quite the same. Like we talked about the lip syncing and everything, it was ridiculous. But the backlash I think is kind of crazy on this. I thought it was a great performance, some good cameos in there as well, and like I said, the cinematography alone and the set design.
Lady Gaga cameo.
Yeah, she was
those
great.
People that actually got married. It wasn't for the show. They actually got married.
Yeah. Super
They
cool.
invited Bad Bunny to their wedding, which no way in hell it was going to happen. But then he actually said, "Oh, why don't you just get married at the Super Bowl during the halftime show?" You couldn't turn that down.
No, exactly.
And then the commercials I briefly mentioned earlier. The commercials
they're so bad.
were not great. There were a couple, though. There were 3 of them, though, that I actually liked.
Yeah.
Not in order, but the Budweiser commercial with Freebird.
Oh, that was cool. Okay, that was
was
okay.
cool.
That was okay.
An American patriot crying to Freebird. That's America right there.
It was America.
That's number 1. Number 2, the tight ends.
Yeah, a lot of people are talking about that.
With Tony Gonzalez. And then the Manscaped one was hilarious.
Yeah, I don't know. It was a lot of.
Were there any other ones I was missing there?
I thought the Pepsi one was pretty okay.
Oh yeah, the polar bear.
I thought that was pretty funny.
Yeah,
good spin on that. But I just felt like the use of AI slop that we saw throughout these commercials.
The 80s
so
Dunkin'
bad.
Donuts one with Tom Brady and them was awful.
I don't know. At times I look at it and I'm like, we're still not there yet. We're still not there to where it looks good. It's like it's uncanny at times, and it's just like, oh, what are we looking at? And they used a lot of it in a lot of other commercials.
We're not to the point where you can't tell if it's AI or not.
Yeah. And it was just like, I don't know. I'm never excited to watch the commercials. It's never a thing. Like I've said in the past, that's the time that I get up to go grab another drink or whatever, grab some more food. So it's like I don't super pay attention to those, but all the ones that I saw was kind of just like, they were kind of just on, and it was just like, oh, some of the commercials ended, and I'm like, what was that an ad for? I didn't see anything having to do with what they're selling. So very strange.
Super Bowl MVP.
Oh my goodness.
Kenneth Walker won Super Bowl MVP, but the kicker for the Seahawks, Jason Myers, made 5 field goals. He was
That's my
number
MVP.
1 reason why they won the game, and he was not Super Bowl MVP.
Yeah.
And honestly, he didn't win it because he's a kicker.
Okay,
I mean, that's just the truth, unfortunately.
So I'll tell you this: when the voting opened, they said at the start of the fourth quarter, it was like, all right, go to this website to vote. So it was like, all right, so we went on there to vote, and first of all, even though it said go on there to vote, it said, oh, it's not unlocked yet. So we're like, oh, that's weird. Then refreshed it and it came up. Myers was not one of the options.
He wasn't even an option? I didn't go on there. So I don't know.
He wasn't an option. And I was like, he's the one that deserves it, because that was before, Kenneth Walker still rushed well up to that point, but didn't have the numbers he finished with. So it was like, What the heck is going on? About 10 minutes later, I refresh it again, and he shows up on the bottom. And it's just like, stop the steal. They're rigging this against us.
Stop
They're rigging
the steal.
this against Money Myers.
Man.
The best kicker in the league. He deserved to win that. He was phenomenal. And I don't care about the people who are like, oh, well, if they were a little bit longer, then maybe it would have. He still made, any kicker can miss those kicks.
But it doesn't matter how long the field goal was. It was only 29-13. He made 5 field goals.
Yeah.
He is the reason why they won that game. And 5 field goals, 15 points. Guess what? Take the 15 points away, it's 14-13. It's a whole nother game.
Exactly.
So, and listen, like I mentioned earlier, if it wasn't Jason Myers, it was going to be Kenneth Walker.
Yes.
But
so I wasn't super upset.
But still, Jason Myers deserved the Super Bowl MVP. But again, he didn't get it because he's a kicker, unfortunately.
But kickers are people too.
That's right. And punters.
Yeah. Kickers and punters are people too. They need to be recognized.
half of our population is going to clip you saying "Stop the steal."
Stop the steal. When it came to that MVP race, I felt like they were rigging the ballot box. That's
And we
I'm
know
telling
what
you.
half.
Yeah. Crazy.
All right, real quick before we get to our live games on JTV, some early odds for next year.
Okay.
The Super Bowl next year. By the way, it's the first time that it's going to be a first time since 2005, I think. ABC ESPN has the Super Bowl next year.
Wow.
I don't know if you knew
It's
that.
been a while, yeah.
So Joe Buck, Troy Aikman Super Bowl, just like the Fox days.
Hey, I like that.
And they get hated on way too much, but that's for another
I like that
discussion.
crew,
We've said
yeah.
that before. But ABC, ESPN, they have the Super Bowl next year, and the Super Bowl next year is on Valentine's Day.
No.
So plan accordingly now. Plan now. Your wife wants to go out to dinner? No, it's the Super Bowl.
Yeah, but you were insinuating about the quarterback that you think is going to be in
Love
the
will
Super
be in the air.
That is just,
Took off the jacket for a reason.
That is ridiculous.
Love is in the air
That is-
until we lose in the wild card to a bad 49ers team like we always do.
Oh man, if that happens and I come back to this, that will be the greatest
gonna
thing in
happen.
the world.
It's gonna happen.
Oh, please happen. Please.
So I don't have the exact betting odds in front of me, but also Stafford won MVP. That was announced since last time we were on. It was
I
either
think by
him.
one vote, right? By one
I
vote.
think it was pretty close.
Yeah.
So Stafford won MVP, Offensive Player of the Year, JSN. Also not surprising.
Yep.
So a lot of people I've seen online in a lot of these comment sections, which are a toxic place to read, by the way, but they said Seattle Rams was the real Super Bowl.
Yeah, that was the real Super Bowl that we had. That was the real Super Bowl. That was a great game.
All right, too early. This is on the ESPN app. Early bets to win the Super Bowl next year. Not in order here, but odds. Chargers 15-1 odds.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I see here too.
Niners 17-1. Broncos 19-1. Probably could have got there this year had they not had Jared Stidham.
Mm-hmm.
The Bears 25-1. That's never going to happen. Don't have to worry about the Bears. And then way too early power rankings out of 32 teams for next year. Seattle 1, New England 2, Rams 3, Broncos 4, Bills 5, Niners 6, Lions 7.
I was gonna say they're 15 to 1 odds, the same as the Chargers.
No way.
Oh, come on, man.
Their offseason in 3 words for the Lions: retool offensive line.
For sure, but I'll tell you this: the Packers are 14 to 1, and the Lions are 15 to 1. That's not that big of a difference. I'll tell you.
Love is in the air next year,
dude. Be careful. That's all I'll say is be careful.
I know you're gonna go back to it, so it's fine.
Yeah. Well, no, it's just that you were the one that was saying like, oh, 27. Oh, every time that the Packers quarterbacks were 27, they win the Super Bowl, and then
This
I
is
think
true.
4 weeks after that, you're like, we're not going to win another game. So I mean,
because we're terrible. I just have to have optimism. The Lions fans do the same thing.
Yeah, sure.
They know they're not making the Super Bowl, but they still have hope.
We'll do it this year.
Yeah, okay.
We'll do it this year.
Same old Lions. Eagles
Can't
number
wait to see
8.
the Packers finally in the Super Bowl. When's that going to happen?
After I'm in the ground.
I think I was in middle school when it happened last. So
2011.
Yeah, oh, okay, I was in high school, but still, I was in high school.
I was. I'm not going to tell you how old I
Yeah,
was when they made
don't
it.
make me feel bad.
Eagles number 8, Jacksonville number 9, Green Bay number 10. Their offseason in 3 words: run it back. Understandable. I mean, I don't want to just blame it on one thing, because I said the whole year special teams was an issue for us, but still not having Micah Parsons on the defense.
Yeah, I mean that was your season right there. When he went down, I knew it was over.
Number 12, Kansas City. Their offseason in 3 words: restart the reload.
I think it's
Because Mahomes will be back at whatever point. Andy Reid's going to be back, although he's getting up there in age. We don't know when he's going to retire, but we have no clue what Kelsey's going to do.
Yeah, I think
And
some
their
of it,
offensive line needs some help, too.
they do. I think some of it depends on how, if Mahomes is going to be back early, then they can easily make a push. But if he's going to be gone for a good part of the season, their record might dip, and that might be it. They might not even make the playoffs. And then at that point, if Kelsey does come back, they don't make the playoffs again. It's going to be really hard for him to come back again after 2 straight seasons of missing the playoffs. So
Yeah, I think regardless, I think he retires after this season, because if they do well and make a playoff run, then he'll end on that.
Yeah.
If not, then they're going to suck, and then he'll end on
Yeah,
that.
for
So,
sure.
real quick, Steelers number 21 out of 32. Their offseason in 3 words, not a rebuild. Now that you have Mike McCarthy, I got to imagine, like I said, remember I said McCarthy was going to come to the Steelers and Rodgers was going to stay one more year, and some people thought I was dumb.
I didn't say that. What I said was that would be a dumb decision, and I stand by that. I think they're going to be awful this year. Absolutely
Well, Rodgers
awful.
back for one more year, not confirmed. I'm not breaking news. And then McCarthy is the head coach.
Ugh,
The
so
Packers
bad.
beat the Steelers in their last
It's
Super
gonna be
Bowl
so
in
bad.
2010.
That'll be a team I love to follow and just hate watch because
I'm always going to root for Rodgers no matter where he's at.
Have fun this season.
Before we go, live Friday this week, Chelsea at Jackson. I mentioned it for a second at the top of the show. Really looking forward to it. Coach Andrea Cabana for Chelsea, former Grass Lake girls coach, won the 2021 state title at Grass Lake. Her son Drew, a freshman, 6'4", had a dunk on Monday against Adrian, 31 points against Adrian. So, of course, he's going to be the highlight for Chelsea. Jackson, though, is all around a good team. They get contributions from everybody. That's going to be really good Friday. Jackson's only 1 game behind them for second in the SEC. And then next week on the 20th, we only have 1 game after that to cap off our live schedule for the year.
Almost done.
Maybe we might have 1 more
There
game.
you go. Nice little teaser.
We may or may not have said something about that during the Tropea interview, but
Sure.
we'll keep it at that. Friday the 20th, we will probably be ending our year on it. Girls, Detroit Country Day at Lumen Christi. Big non-conference game. But next school year, it was just announced today, Detroit Country Day is actually going to be joining the Catholic League. They left their conference in 1987, and they've been independent since then. First time since 87 they're in a conference. So that's all coming up the next 2 Fridays live on JTV Sports. And subscribe for free and check out the Orthopedic Rehab Specialist photo galleries. So thank you to the Insurance Circle Agency. Thanks to Coach Tropea for joining the show. That's Adam. I'm David Rice. We'll see you at Jackson High Friday, and we'll see you next week.
JV is back, baby.